Who is the only team that can stop Georgia from being number one next year? Who's the only team in the country that can do that? Hey, it's not a rhetorical question. I got an answer. Come on in.
Broadcasting live from the only establishment in town that can't kick him out. His own basement. The world according to Rocket.
It is I, Rocket Man, and this is the world according to Rocket. Right? Thank you for being here. This episode today is brought to you by me, Nash Rocket, at Nash Rocket Media, Rocket Top Gear. Yeah, come on, you know it was coming. You knew it was coming. Come on, you knew. Oh, hush. Let me just tell you. Let me just read the commercial here real quick, okay? It's just 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere. Here we go. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, Nash Rocket, and I'm here to tell you about Nash Rocket Media Rocket Top Gear, tees, hoodies, mugs, and more. Now, let me ask you, have you ever put on a t-shirt and felt like $1,000,000? How about a hoodie that's so comfortable you don't ever want to take it off, you even want to sleep in it, right? Even go to church in it. Or a mug that's so cool it's like a trophy for your morning coffee. Well, that's what you get with the official Nash Rocket Media Rocket Top Gear. These threads are so fresh, they're so fly. You'll be the envy of all your friends down at the pool hall, down at church, or any dive bar that you might want to go. They're made to last. They'll keep you looking good for a long time, but it's not just about the clothes, folks. It's about the lifestyle. Rocket Top Gear is for the go-getters, the ones who ain't afraid to take risks and make moves, you know, kind of like I'm doing right now. So if you're ready to step up your game and revolutionize your life, head on over to the Nash Rocket Media Store and get yourself some Rocket Top Gear. Trust me, you won't regret it. I ran across an article this week from Blake Topmeyer. Blake Topmeyer's a USA Today guy. And he had a headline that went something like, who is the only team that can stop Georgia? And I'm going, well, in my mind, I know who I'd say. And then I said, well, normally there's a bias, right, against Tennessee, have we seen, particularly in the media, right? So I read this article, and do you know what? He's thinking the same way I'm thinking, because the schedule for Georgia is so suck. I mean, it's so weak. It's so lame. Let me go through Georgia's schedule next year. First of all, they have UT Martin. Then they got Ball State. And then they got South Carolina at home at Georgia. Then they got UAB, and then they got Auburn, which I'm still salty about. You know, that dude makes $1.5 million more dollars a year than Josh Heupel does. At the moment, I think that's going to be resolved here fairly soon. $1.5 million more than he makes right now. Than Josh Heupel makes right now. And the man hadn't even put on a jockstrap and his training boots to go out and coach the Auburn Tigers yet. He hadn't even done that yet, right? It just really torques me off. And then, of course, they have Kentucky at home. Kentucky, I'm sorry. Where did you go, Kentucky? Vanderbilt in Nashville. And then they got Florida. Florida is a dumpster fire at this point. Then they got Missouri. Probably that's going to give them the biggest game that they're going to have all season prior to coming to Tennessee. And then they got Ole Miss at home. They got any tough game at home, right? Until November 18th. And that's when they come to Neyland Stadium. Right? That's when they come. And that is going to be one hell of a football game. By that time, it will be well documented and demonstrated who our quarterback is going to be. Is it Joe? Is it Joe time? The Joe Show? Or is it Nico, the $8 million kid? By that time, we will know. And by that time, we will know exactly what we have in terms of a football team. I think our football team is going to be a lot better than it was this year. I do. I really do. Now, here's the thing. That late in the season, November 18th, there could be a lot of injuries by that time. You have a tough season of practice. You have a tough season of games. And it's the SEC. You're going to get dinged up. You're going to get banged up. Fortunately, that is the same situation for both sides. So we're just never going to know what that's going to be. But highly likely that Georgia's going to be undefeated coming into that game because they got such a soft schedule. Ole Miss could give them some trouble. I don't know, maybe, but they're playing at Georgia, so I don't know. But you look at Tennessee coming in there. It all depends on how Tennessee does at Alabama on the road to what their schedule, their win-loss record is going to be. What do you think? What do you think? Are they going to go back-to-back and beat Alabama at Tuscaloosa? That is a tall order, man. That is a tall order. We shall see. But we know that Georgia is going to be undefeated when they come, more than likely, on November 18th. And so the dude is right. And I'm going to give you some love, Blake Topmeyer. You called it. Tennessee is the only team that's going to be able to stop Georgia, or as we like to say, UGA, from being number one and being in that number one spot in the college football playoff again. Right? Now, this is no slight against Georgia. Great football team. And perhaps in the process of building a dynasty. But Tennessee has a great opportunity to take that all away from them next November 18th. And I can't wait.
Rock the